My very first digital product was an ebook and it made a little over 900K. And in this video, I'm gonna show you step by step how to create one in a single day and turn it into at least a six-figure system for yourself. You know, the other day, somebody said in my comments that they thought that ebooks were dead. And I was like, oh, no, 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 my friend, you are highly mistaken. Just the ebook industry alone is a 20 to 30 billion with a B dollar industry. And the whole digital product industry alone is a multi-trillion with the T dollar industry. So with that much market space available, it's a thriving industry and you can grab a little piece of that and bring it down to yourself. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break down how you can create this product in a day for yourself and turn it into at least a six-figure system for yourself. And system, SYSTEM, stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. To whereas you do the work once, implement it into the system, and the system works for you 24/7, 365. That's how you actually make more while working less and getting your time back. So look, the first thing that you need to understand about writing this ebook is that it needs to solve one problem. And this is what so many creators are really struggling with. Your ebook only needs to solve one specific problem. The money is in specificity. So while most people fail is that they're trying to cover everything in their ebook and they make it entirely too broad. And they try to impress people instead of actually convert people. So the number one thing that you need to understand in entrepreneurship and business just in general is that entrepreneurship simply just equals problem solving. So what a lot of people don't realize is that as an entrepreneur, you're in the problem solving business, period. That's it. Just think about it. Every single dollar that somebody spends on something, they only spend it on something to whereas it has a perceived value to them. And that's it. And if you think about it a level deeper, we only spend our money on stuff to whereas we perceive the value to be greater than our dollar. If we did not think that something was worth more than the money that we're spending on it, we simply wouldn't spend the money on it. We would either keep our money in our pocket or we would go and spend it on something else. So that's the thing that you really have to focus on with this ebook is value. And like I said, money is simply just a symbol that value has been exchanged. Most people, they want to make more money and they don't even understand what money is. Therefore, they're not able to create anything to where somebody would exchange that symbol of value with them. So look, money follows problem solved. So clarity equals to cash. So the only thing that you need to do with this ebook is to isolate a single problem within the marketplace, package the solution to that problem in your ebook, and that's where the money's made. So when I said that you need to isolate a specific problem in the marketplace, most people, they'll just go out and they'll just pick a niche. And then they'll say, okay, well, I'm gonna make a ebook about how to lose weight. I'm in the health niche. No, you wanna take it a level deeper. What you wanna do is that you want to build a specific avatar profile. Your avatar, I know a lot of people, they hear avatar and they think that it might be some little bald-headed monk boy with the arrow in the middle of his head or some big, tall, magical blue creatures that are at one with the planet. No, when I'm saying avatar, your avatar is simply just a customer profile. So this is what is really holding a lot of creators back also, is that they're trying to speak to everyone and they're trying to get the biggest audience possible because they think the more followers and subscribers that I have, the more products that I can sell. You got that wrong, it's backwards. You actually sell more by focusing on less people. So you don't sell to everyone. You sell to one person in one situation with one pain and one transformation. Keyword is going to be transformation here. Because people, they don't buy information, they buy transformation. So what you need to understand is that when you try to sell to everyone, you sell to no one. So you need deep avatar clarity. You need specific messaging, and you need to narrow your focus. This is the foundation of positioning. This is positioning 101. And positioning is the sole reason why so many people can't make any money online in their business. So I'll give you a prime example. Somebody that I was helping in my community, they were in the health niche. They had an ebook available that were helping people lose weight, were making no money, was getting no traction, building no audience, no sales, no nothing. All that we simply did was lock in on her avatar, and instead of just helping people lose weight, she narrowed her avatar down to helping busy mothers, or not busy mothers, helping busy new mothers lose 20 pounds of baby weight in 20 minutes a day. You see how specific that is? And now her audience actually starts to find her because she's only catering to them specifically. Then instantly, with the same exact product, didn't change anything in the product, just changed the positioning of it, she pretty much immediately started to make money. So one thing that I do that really helps me in building out my avatar, and you may not be able to do this with whatever your niche is, but this is something that I've literally been doing since day one of my online journey, is that my avatar is just my former self from like 5 years ago. So it's very, very easy for me to come up with content. It's very, very easy for me to come up with product and product ideation and positioning and whatnot, because I'm simply just helping myself with all the problems that I used to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. That's why so many people are in tune with my content, and I get like on a daily basis comments saying like, man, I can relate to this so much. Man, it feels like you're talking to me. It's because I am talking to you. And you and I have a lot of commonalities. We have a lot of similarities because I'm only talking to myself. So that's why each and every single time I show up and I hit record on this camera, and for the products that I create for my community, it's like I'm reaching through the camera and like, listen to me. Like, this works if you work it. Focus. So that's just a little nugget that might be able to help you in building out your avatar, if it's possible within your niche. I just help the old me with stuff that the current me has already figured out. That's how I run my entire business. So look, what you need to understand also in writing this ebook, information is cheap. Transformation is premium. So I said this a little earlier in the video. I said that people don't pay for information, they pay for transformation. So the reason why I say that is because we're in the information age. You can Google anything, you can YouTube anything, you can chat GPT anything. People, they don't need more information. And actually, most people are actually stuck in analysis paralysis because they're getting entirely too much information and they're overwhelmed for the most part. So if your ebook is just information, it's worthless. So all that people want to do is simply just go from their current. So if people are here, this is their current situation. All that they want to do is get to here, which is their desired situation. This whole gap in between here, this is what we actually need to fill. And this whole gap is going to be our product. So many people are struggling with what their ebook is going to be about. And I'm just like, okay, who's it for? And what is the result of transformation that they want? So let's go ahead and fill that gap. And the ebook, each chapter, is just going to be the steps to bridge that gap together to actually get somebody a result. So many people are overthinking this stuff, and so many people are like trying to tell their life story and just write a novel or something like that. And I'm like, no. Just write something that are logical steps from where they are right now to where they want to be. This whole gap here, that's the transformation gap. That gap is where we actually monetize. That gap is where we make the money. So don't overthink the length in this. So many people, they're thinking, well, how many pages does my ebook need to be? Or they're thinking of their ebooks like these. See these books? These are some pretty big, thick books, right? So they'll see some big books Or they'll think of a New York Times best-selling author or something like that. And they'll be like, oh, so I have to make my book as long as a paperback or a hardback cover book. I'm like, no. First of all, if you understand the business behind physical books, most of the time, authors of these popular books, they get paid up front from the publisher. It's kind of like the music industry. Like, they don't ever make any more money outside of that one check that they get off the book a lot of times. But in order for them to get published by their particular publisher, the publisher will have a minimum word count that they need to have in the book. Therefore, the author gets redundant a lot of times in a lot of these books, and it's just saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, just because they have to hit a minimum word count in order to get not only published, but paid from their publisher. Therefore, they just make a book extremely too long a lot of the times, when a lot of books, especially informational books, the info and the point could get across in like 27 to 40 or 50 pages or something like that, but they go ahead and make it 230. So in this, you're only thinking of transformation, not information. So your ebook should be as long as necessary and as short as possible. People want a result quickly. So don't think of length. Just make it however long or short it needs to be for the information and the value that you need to get presented. Just make it however long or short it needs to be. But think, how fast can you get somebody a result? Not how long are they going to be sitting here reading this ebook. So if 27 pages delivers the transformation, then that's enough. We're thinking efficiency. We're thinking results over volume, and we're thinking outcome over word count. Now, here's how you write this in a day. And a lot of people, they're spending entirely too much time writing this stuff. The name of the game is speed. So me, on all the ebooks that I've written in the past, I write it out in a day. And I write it in a day using voice to text. So in the past, I used to use something that's called Otter.ai. What Otter did was that it would record your voice and then we give you back a written transcription of every single thing that you spoke. But now there's so many talk-to-text things that are available and for free. You can use Google Docs. Google Docs has a talk-to-text. You can use the Notes app on your phone. It has a talk-to-text. You can use YouTube. Think about it. YouTube, every single video that you post, it gives you a transcription. You can sit there and make a YouTube video and post it and just have it unlisted or private, and then just grab that transcription of what you spoke. So how I typically write my ebooks is this. I don't just sit there and write out an entire ebook. I'll outline the chapters, and then I'll just talk it out. And then I'll use whatever that transcription software is to get my transcription. And then once I have that transcription, then I'll clean it up. I may proofread it, right? Because a lot of the times, the way that I talk does not come across grammatically proper English or proper grammatical structure once it's like on paper or in that PDF, in that written file. So I'll clean it up some, and then I'll format it. The way that I do it is that I don't really like to spend time on making my ebook look all fine and dandy. So my very first digital product that made a little over 900K, I literally just put it in a Google Doc. It didn't look fancy or anything like that. Later on, once I made other ones, I wanted them to look a little more fancier, even though it wasn't actually needed, because the people buying that could care less what it looks like. They just want the result that's promised in it. But when I formatted it, I went to Fiverr. I went to Fiverr.com, and I had a freelancer go ahead and format it for me, so I wouldn't have to take the time to do that. For one, I'm not a techie person, and I don't want to be a techie person or spend my time on that. I like to eliminate all minimum wage activities and only focus on revenue generating activities. All right. Oops, not that way. This way, revenue generating activities are always going to be greater than minimum wage activities. So you can take time to do this yourself. If you want it to look prettier, you can probably do it in not that much time on Canva or something like that. But I went to Fiverr. I found some formatter, and the formatter made it look all pretty for me. They did the cover, they did a clickable table of contents, illustrations in there if you want it, but speed is the name of the game. So typically how I do this, for me, I'm an outdoorsy type of person. So I just spend a day in the park. And while I'm walking and I'm looking at my outline, and since I'm educated and have knowledge and experience over what it is that I'm talking about, pretty much just like I'm doing in this YouTube video, I'll just talk out my ebook and enjoy a nice day at the park while I'm getting some ice cream, and over here at the Japanese garden feeding the koi fish, and over here feeding some ducks. And at the end of the day, I have an ebook written. But the name of the game is speed over perfection. And the reason why you want to get this done, for one, so you can finally get out of that analysis paralysis stage, and so many people spend so much time getting ready instead of actually launching. But you want to get something into the hands of somebody as quickly as possible so you can stay in constant feedback loops with the market. And that's how you actually do make something, that perfect ebook that you want. You make it off of getting feedback from people. What are the results that people are getting? What for me, I actually get on calls with some people and see what it is that they think about it, or the results that they got from it, right? But the real strategy, so many people think that the money is in creating the ebook. No. For one, creation without traffic, so what? And for two, most people, typically an ebook is a low ticket digital product, and most people think that the money in the ebook is made on the front end, when typically it's not. I'm not saying that you can't, but if you really want to make some life-changing money, remember this: experts get paid on the front end. Amateurs get paid on the front end, and experts get paid on the back end. So a lot of the money that you're going to be making from this ebook is going to be from the back end. And I've made a lot of money online in my business with this strategy that I call the 3-in-1 play. So with the 3-in-1 play, you basically get 3 separate digital products from one piece of work that you did. It's all about repackaging and repurposing. And if you think about this in business, just in general, everybody else that's doing business around you, they're making money in multiple ways from one piece of work that they created or produced. So I'm a big fruit person. I love fruit. I get mangoes. I love watermelon. Fruit, there's really not a store to get my watermelon. They have the big watermelon, then they have the cut up watermelon, then they have the slices of watermelon. Same thing with the mangoes. I can go and get regular whole mangoes. I can go and get the mangoes cut up in a package. One of my favorite snacks to eat while I'm sitting down and watching my shows at night, dried mangoes. They're all a mango. Then you can go and get the mango juice. So this is the same thing with the 3-in-1 play. So this is the business layer. So instead of just creating an ebook, you create multiple products from that ebook. So something that I've done in the past that really worked well for me, and especially this will work for you not only if you like to do stuff on video, or if you're good at it, and even if you're not good at it, because there's so many people's limiting belief, you get good at it. How do you get good at anything? Through repetition. The same way that you're good at anything that you're good at now, you only got that way through repetition. But this is the 3-in-1 play. So for me, I hosted a live masterclass, and then I recorded it. So once I got done with that masterclass and I had the recording, I then took the transcription from my recording and I transcribed it. And that transcription from that recording became an ebook. And then I have the recording of the masterclass that I can sell for one product in this particular product that I'm talking about. I did the live masterclass. I charged $300 to attend. And then I sold the recording for $100. And then I turned the transcription into an ebook. And then I also turned it into an audiobook because I had recorded myself reading out the ebook once I had created the ebook. So this is a 3-in-1 play. So now you have a core offer, which is your ebook. You have something that's called an order bump. If you don't know what an order bump is, an order bump is some no-brainer item that just logically goes hand in hand with whatever your core offer is. So, for example, I'm a big movie guy. I just went to the movies yesterday. When I go to the movies, the core offer or the core product is the movie ticket. The order bump is going to be the popcorn and the nasty bottle of Dasani that they give me that every time I open it, it sounds like a pop opening up or an angry cat. It just, I'm like, why does my water have to hiss when I open it? But those are order bumps. And then you have an upsell, which could be the recording of your live masterclass. Just like when I go to the movies, the upsell is, do you want that in a small, a medium, or a large? And the way that they have the pricing positioned on that popcorn, it logically just makes sense for me to go and get the biggest tub, because the difference between the large bag and the big tub is so insignificant that it's like, it makes sense to just get the big tub. And I actually was sick yesterday because I messed up my butter to popcorn ratio and I ate too much of that fake butter. And I got sick yesterday. Couldn't even eat dinner until like 10:30 at night because my stomach was I just was nauseous all day. Too much butter. But that's the upsell. So here, that masterclass recording, that could be your upsell. And you could take that recording of that masterclass from that. And then once you have, I always advise people to have a Q&A session with this masterclass at the end of the masterclass so it doesn't mess up the recording of whatever it is that you're teaching. Later on down the road, you could actually take that and perfect it and turn it into like a more professional looking course or something like that. But with these, now you have these 3 products from one piece of effort, and this is actual true leverage. A lot of people, they don't understand this concept, and they're like, oh, well, why would people pay different amounts of money for the same thing? And that's why I give them the fruit analogy, because the same information or the same product packaged differently not only is a different product and does have different value, but different people learn and understand on different levels depending on the source of data that they're consuming. So I'll give you a prime example. There's a guy by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, but he wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'm not recommending the book or anything about Robert Kiyosaki. I'm just using him as an example that a lot of people are familiar with. Robert Kiyosaki's message has been the same since he first wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He has these glasses, these little beady eyes, and he just, yeah, I love that. I love that. That's how I don't pay taxes because I love that. I'm $1 billion in debt. I want to be $10 billion in debt. But Robert Kiyosaki has created a whole company called the Rich Dad Company. And he created the Rich Dad Company all around Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book. So everything that Robert Kiyosaki does, it's all from the foundation of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. One of Robert Kiyosaki's main revenue generating products outside of the actual book is digital products from Rich Dad, Poor Dad and live seminars, whereas they sell a high ticket offer off the bat of the live seminar and in-person events. And at all the in-person events, Robert Kiyosaki isn't even on stage. He just has other people talking about and teaching what? Principles from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When they buy whatever the high ticket thing is, what is it? Same principles from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When he writes other books, what is it? Blah, 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 from the principles of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. They have Rich Dad, Poor Dad workbooks. but he's all talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Somebody else by the name of Russell Brunson. If you're not familiar with Russell Brunson, he's wrote Traffic Secrets, Expert Secrets, .com Secrets. He's started and founded this software a lot of people online in the educational space used years back called ClickFunnels. Everything Russell Brunson sold, it's all the same stuff that is in .com Secrets, but packaged differently. It has different prices. The same stuff that is in his 5-figure mastermind is the same stuff that's in the book. What's the difference? How it's presented and access. This is the same thing with here. And the way that this works also is that the way that you monetize with this is actually through layers. So a lot of people, they'll go out here and they'll create multiple different digital products, and then they'll sell them all separately. They'll say, hey, go buy this, or hey, click this link, or hey, click that link, or they'll have a freaking link tree or something like that with 50 lamb links and 50 lamb products. And they wonder why nobody's selling that stuff. It's because you're separating your traffic. And when you give people too many options to choose, typically they don't choose anything. So what you want to do with this strategy is that you want to drive all the traffic to one product, because a buyer is always going to be a buyer. So what that means is that it's always going to be easier to sell something to somebody immediately after they purchased or while they're buying something. That's the psychology of all of us, including myself, on when we sell things. Or not when we sell things, when we buy things. So how this works is that you want to drive all your traffic to your core offer. And once they've made the purchasing decision, then you want to give them that order bump, that no-brainer item, that popcorn to the movie ticket, or that fries and lemonade to the Chick-fil-A sandwich. And then you want to offer them the upsell. And this all increases what's called your average order value. So most people think that they need to go out and get more sales from more people instead of thinking, how can they maximize the average order value per person? This is the way that you make more money without getting more people. So I'll show you what this looks like. So last time I implemented this strategy, let's say that I have my core offer right here, which is my ebook. Everybody's coming in here for my ebook, and my ebook was priced at $47. Well, as soon as they see this ebook, or they made this purchasing decision, I give them an order bump. For this particular ebook that I sold, I had a $20 order bump, and I actually had 2 order bumps. I had the $20 order bump for the audiobook, and then I had a $20 order bump for something that I called the 10 Stack Commandments. And this was the 10 commandments to get to your first 6 figures in any industry. So for this one, I had 2 order bumps, right? But for the sake of this example, we're just going to have 1. So I had this order bump. A percentage of people would take that order bump. Not everybody, but a percentage. So somebody that came into my ecosystem to spend $47, a percentage of them took my order bump. So I got $67 from somebody that originally came into my ecosystem to spend $47. Well, right after that, I would upsell them. I will upsell them here. Guess what? A percentage of people would take that. And for the percentage of people that didn't take that, for the percentage of people that said, no, I don't want that, I downsold them the exact same thing at a significant discount. People love a discount. And the psychology behind this for me is that, it's all extra money. I'll take it. I don't care if it's less. And this is so many people's problem also. They want all the money instead of extra money. And I will always take half of a watermelon over 100% of a grape. But the thing about this right here is that nobody would see that unless they decline the upsell. Well, guess what? A percentage of people will buy that too. Now, if I take it a little further, because in this actual funnel for this ebook that I'm using this example for, I actually had a second upsell with a second down sell, and then I got to the thank you page, right? But the way that I got this from is from IKEA. Have you ever been to IKEA, the furniture store? Well, last time I went to IKEA, which was years ago, but this really impacted my life. I went to IKEA for one cowhide rug for my living room. I left from IKEA with a cowhide rug, plates, spoons, cutlery, and I would have walked out with a motion sensor trash can, but they didn't have one. Some glasses and my cowhide rug. Why was that? Because IKEA forced me to see everything that they had available, as I already had made a purchasing decision for the cowhide rug. So if you just put some brackets around here, if you've been to IKEA, this will start to look familiar. Because IKEA, they force everybody into the door for whatever it is that they came for. For whatever it is that they came for. And then while they're here, they force you to see everything else that they have available. Then you get out. And they even have little arrows on the floor that's like, no, you have to walk this way. And then once you're in their ecosystem, you got to go that way because you don't want to disrupt the flow of traffic. And the doors that they have on the side have these big red signs that say, do not open or alarm's going to sound. So you're like, all right, well, guess I'm here. Let's go ahead and make it through the store. And then while you're there, you're like, I do need a computer chair. What's the price of that? I actually do need some new glasses. I've just taken up drinking red wine. I do need some wine glasses. They show you everything else they have available as they're funneling you through their system. Because a buyer is always going to be a buyer. The best time to sell something to somebody is while they're buying something or immediately after they purchase something. Same thing goes here. But what most people do is that they'll say, hey, go here and buy that, go there and buy that, go there and buy that. And they're splitting their traffic and they're wondering why nobody's buying anything instead of just focusing all your efforts on generating traffic to one core offer. And then once they're in your ecosystem, offering them whatever else that you have available on the back end. Now, I took this a level deeper, just showing you what I did in my system when I did this, but I'm not saying that you have to have this many products available. And I didn't get started with this whole suite. I first just got started. That's all I had to offer. Then later on, I was like, let me add that. And then later on, I added everything else. But I highly recommend that if anybody is going to be selling an ebook, to at least just start with at least one core offer with one order bump and one upsell with a downsell. This right here, that's where you actually make the money, not just off of these one-off low ticket sales. Remember, amateurs make money on the front end, experts make money on the back end. This is the difference between a content creator that just thinks of something that they probably just have ChatGPT write up in 20 seconds that sucks, versus a contentpreneur that is actually thinking strategy and increasing average order value and realizing that you can actually make more money per purchase or per person with less audience than somebody that has more traffic but doesn't have this back end set up. All right. So here, like I said, instead of I made $47 with this system, it now becomes a $20 order bump and a $100 upsell. So now one buyer can come in and spend $167 instead of $47. And this is business thinking versus side hustle thinking. So many people are treating whatever it is that they claim that they want to do with their life as a side hustle and wondering why they're not getting any results, because they're not treating it like a business. They're putting more energy, time, effort, and money into what it is that they claim that they don't want to do on a day-to-day basis than they're willing to invest into themselves. I'm like, you spend at least 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life to retire for 40% of your income doing something that you don't want to do. But you're treating whatever it is that you claim that you want to do. Let me just put this over here on the side. And you wonder why you're not getting any results. That's why. And that's why you make money from your job, because you're giving it all your effort. It's really simple once you just break down some of this stuff logically. Now, what we want to do is that we build a system around this. And remember, system, SYSTM, stands for saving yourself time, energy, and money. This here is a system. So the flow, the front end attracts, the back end multiplies revenue, and then automation drives profit. So all of this passive income that everybody wants is simply just a structured back end, not just product creation. I don't care if you just make a product. If you have no system around it, then the product's not going to sell. Now, this is my premium pricing strategy also, because a lot of people, when I tell them that I sold my ebook for $47, they're like, whoa, that's a lot for an ebook. But these thick books back here, most people wouldn't spend $47 on them. Why? It's because of the perceived value that I add with my ebooks. And this is just a little Aston CEO nugget. I don't really tell anybody about this outside of members in my community. They know about this, but I'm not against selling an ebook for, $5, 10, 15, 20 bucks. Cool. $47 is still a low ticket digital product, but in the ebook world, that's considered a premium product. So I'll anchor it at a premium price point, which is $47, like I said, low ticket, but in the ebook world, that's premium. But I add bonuses to increase its perceived value. That's why I can sell an ebook for $50 and the New York Times bestseller can only sell it for like 15 to 20 bucks. So in this example that I'm talking about, I added a bonus of kind of like a mini course. So it was like they were getting a package of educational videos along with the ebook for the price of the ebook. So I always tell people, think, what bonus can you add that you can, you only have to create it once, but it can add perceived value to your actual product. So for some people, this might be a checklist. This might be some list of resources that you have, right? But think, what is something that you could create once that you could add as a bonus to increase the value of whatever your offer is? That's why I was able to sell ebooks at a higher price than everybody else, because it came with more than everybody else's. So why is this? Remember, this works because we're thinking of transformation. So I'm thinking, what can I add with this to get somebody their desired result or their transformation faster, so I can get that testimonial back faster, so then I could use that to market my ebook furthermore. Because the faster I get results, proof of concept that my stuff works, the more people that are going to buy it. It's just human nature. That's how stuff works. It's an evangelistic effect. When I say evangelist, I just mean an ambassador. It's human nature. When we get something of good value, we just naturally go run and tell other people about it. That's how I became a Trader Joe's customer. I love eating popcorn when I'm watching my favorite shows or my movies. Like, I go to the movie theaters all the time because I'm a cinephile, but I really love good stories. Homegirl of mine, she knew I like popcorn. She was like, hey, you try this popcorn from Trader Joe's, movie theater popcorn? She became an evangelist for Trader Joe's. She tells me about it. I'm like, I trust Chelsea's snacking opinion. I go to Trader Joe's for the first time. Have not been able to find a better movie theater popcorn yet. And since then, I now go to Trader Joe's pretty much every Thursday or Friday, and I buy up multiple snacks from there. That's just because she had a good experience, shared it with me. I go tell people about all the other stuff. And now me and my mama have like a convo once a week on, hey, you tried this at Trader Joe's? You tried that on Trader Joe's? Like, the same thing works online in your business with your digital products. So that's why you add these bonuses. And always remember specificity and the packaging. So this here is me reframing the price as perception. So the way that this works is very, very simple. You always just want to keep your avatar in mind, because everything goes around this. And then here, what most people are missing out on is the content. Because without traffic, no matter what you create, or even if you have these order bumps, upsells, or whatnot to go hand in hand with your product, you're not going to get any sales. And so many people are missing this side of it. Because once you only focus in on making content for your actual avatar, then the algorithm starts to categorize your content. Then you start to become a trusted authority within the space, and the algorithm, highly advised YouTube, starts to categorize your content and uses traffic sources, which is the homepage, the suggested bar, external traffic from Google, and external traffic from people getting good value from your stuff and hitting that little arrow under all the videos that hit share, sharing that out to other people. Then you get in front of more people that fits your avatar's profile. So then you have your offer, or in this case, for this video, you have your ebook, to whereas then here, you get the money, to whereas here, remember, we're in the transformation business. People get their transformation, to whereas then they become that evangelist for you. Remember, that ambassador. You start to get messages, you start to get emails from people talking about how you changed their life, all the great results that they had that you can now use to show other people that the stuff that you have works, which will then lead to more people buying the stuff from you, which will then lead to you getting more numbers coming in online in your business, just like all them that you see on the screen right now. And if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Crowded at the Top community, and I'll see you on the inside. But like I said, content right here is the biggest factor that so many people are ignoring, trying to think of all these strategies when simply enough people don't know about their stuff. They're great at what they do, but nobody knows that they exist. So go ahead and check out this video right here for a complete system that you can build around your YouTube channel that'll have sales coming in on autopilot. It's Crowded at the Top.